They didn't let anyone leave, eh? They came in here 45 minutes ago and had already blocked off the end of the road. All exits. That's insane.
And this was around 6:30 when I got put in the paddy wagon. And then one cop, we were there for about 2 hours. It was raining. It started to rain before we actually got inside. So by the time we were in, our clothes were soaking wet, and they had cranked up the air condition in the vehicle. So we were freezing. They wouldn't allow us to go to the washroom. They wouldn't allow us to. There's one woman who started hyperventilating, and they wouldn't allow her to leave. She was like, there's like holes in the door, so she was trying to breathe through there. Then I got moved to another one because one police officer said that's overcrowded, you can't do that. Then I got to move to another one which had the same amount of people in it, 10 women to one 2-meter by 1-meter like steel cage pretty much. And there was one lady there who was 50, she was 59, and she had a kidney condition where she only had a certain percentage of her kidney working, and she told the cops, can I please go to the washroom? If I don't go to the washroom, my kidney will burst. And they said no. So there was 2 women, and they ended up having to pee themselves or pee on the floor of the paddy wagon. So we were stuck there for like 3 hours with the smell of urine, freezing cold. We asked them if we could just step out for some air because there were so many women, and they would shut the door so it was completely dark. I mean, you couldn't see your hand in front of, and you're just trying to huddle with the woman beside you. It was a desperate situation, and the cops were just joking around, making funny remarks at us. It was dehumanizing, completely.
Go back now to Sammy Katz. He's our special correspondent inside this human box that's detaining but not really detaining him right now. Sammy, what's the latest?
Right now. The latest is that it looks like Disneyland right now, except like a very black version of Disneyland. People are lining up, waiting to be arrested in the pouring rain. They're boxing people in every morning. People just want to go home. So at this point, they're just putting their hands in the air and waiting their turn. The problem is that the riot police don't have the capacity right now to take everybody away. There's probably something like 200 people that I can see that are arrested. They don't have the capacity to arrest everybody else that's here right now.
Look at that rain. This is all part of the story right now. The heavy downpour. These people are being detained at Queen and Spadina in the pouring rain. They're soaking wet. They're cold. They're chilled. There's even pets in that area where they're being held.
If there's anything you guys can do, if you can keep contacting the mayor for people here. I'm not the only one. I'm standing next to people who are just walking by, just taking pictures, just trying to see what's going on. They already took the protesters away. They took them out of the crowd about an hour and a half ago. And now this is just people, somebody was walking their dog, another couple was going out for dinner. I was just taking pictures. A lot of people were just walking by, and now we're stuck in the rain for the past 2 hours, freezing cold.
Well, the public sentiment on this, it's not good, I can tell you that. And we need to hear from the police chief, the mayor, someone who can speak to this situation. That seems absurd when I'm looking at a woman in a tank top standing in the pouring rain with her arms held behind her back, threat or no threat. Processing this way seems very, very strange.
Now, in terms of, you were mentioning, Stephanie, the number of people that were not commenting. Well, I did have one police officer who spoke to me just off the record, and I said, hey, what's going on right now? And he says, the wagons are coming. And I said, well, what about the people? What's going to happen to them? And he said, if they're in custody, they're going in a wagon. And those are his exact words.
They're in the plastic handcuffs. They are being moved into the bus and shipped to the detention center, or at least the processing center, down on Eastern Avenue. There are still about 150 to 200 people just standing in the pouring rain, corralled by the riot squad for no reason, no handcuffs, just standing there, not being given any water, not allowed to take bathroom breaks, not being told anything, not being given any explanation, not being asked any questions, just simply being held in a downpour. And you can see them shivering in the pouring rain. It is cold out right now.
We were just let go by police, but they've chartered buses, and there's hundreds of people on these TTC buses. They've let us go. I can barely feel my legs. I'm still soaking wet. It looks like they've been severely embarrassed in this situation. They have 6 buses, 6 TTC chartered buses full of protesters, and they're taking them to the detention center now. It looks like they didn't have the capacity to take all of us, and they've let a lot of us go. Everybody's cheering. Everybody wants to go home. Everybody's soaking wet, and they just want to get out of here.
What do you want to say to Police Chief Bill Blair about this? Oh, that was ridiculous. It was the worst. I don't feel safe around police anymore.
And so they finally, I guess they really couldn't take us anywhere because they had no space. They were trying to, we hear them on the phone trying to like see if they could take us to 32 Division, or the Eastern Avenue was completely full, and they had no space to no spot to take us. So they ended up letting us out around 10:30 at night. Right where we were detained, we just sat in the back of the paddy wagon for 4 hours for absolutely nothing. It was a complete power trip on so many levels. Like they were able to say and do anything to us, and knowing that we had absolutely no power.